Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and of course Aston Martins. Oh my, the glamorous life of an automotive journalist. 50 pounds of gear on my back, and another interesting and new auto show, this time Phoenix. And on the Fast Lane Car 3, we're going to give you the scoop on the best and most significant cars of 2015. On episode 3 of the Fast Lane Car, it's a classic TFL top 10 list. We take a look at the most significant cars of 2015, plus part 2 of my up close and personal look at the Pagani. So sit back, buckle up, the Fast Lane Car is on right now. Welcome to the Phoenix Auto Show. Now, the Phoenix Auto Show is a regional show. It's not one of the big ones in America. The big ones are New York, Chicago, LA, and of course Detroit, which we'll be covering. But here in Phoenix, I thought this would be a good chance to kind of talk about the significant cars of 2015, starting with one of the most significant, the brand new Mustang, and this one happens to be the GT. There are 3 engine choices. There's the GT, there's the EcoBoost, and of course, there's the 6-cylinder. And this is coming very soon. It's the brand new Mustang convertible. And coming up next on the Fast Lane Car, we're going to take a walk through the Phoenix Auto Show and show you the significant cars of 2015. What makes a Mustang so significant? Well, think about it. It's probably the most iconic American car. Sure, there's the Model T, no longer made, and of course there's the Corvette. But this Mustang, I think in the minds of most people around the world, it represents American cars. And that's why a brand new one, especially one with a turbocharged 4-cylinder, and of course the traditional GT, is so significant when it comes to new cars. You'd be hard-pressed to find a car that has not made it into everyone's top 10, and this is of course the newest entry into all those lists, the brand new 2015 Volkswagen Golf GTI. Why is this significant? Because Volkswagen needs a shot in the arm. They have been struggling sales-wise in America, and this is kind of the car that represents, at least today, the Volkswagen DNA. And off of this platform, you're going to see a lot of different variations. A sports wagon, perhaps, if what was exhibited in LA is true, a 400 horsepower of the mighty Golf R. So yes, this is very significant, and it's a very good car. If you're looking for a hot hatch and you don't have tons of money to spend, this is a great choice. Alright, so the sticker on this car is $32,000, not exactly cheap, but if you lose the sunroof, if you lose the dual clutch automatic, and you just get the basic car, you can get into this car for around $25,000. Now I sound like a used car salesman, sorry. But what is important to know about this list is that I have driven all of these cars, so I know what I'm talking about, and this is a hell of a good car. Alright, this Nismo Juke, I love that name, is of course not a new car, but it is important in the fact that it was one of the first small crossovers, and that segment has become red hot now with Mazda coming in with the CX-3, Honda with the HR-V, but this was one of the original ones, one of the original cute little small crossovers with 4-wheel drive. People thought, why are they building something like this? Apparently Nissan was way ahead of its time, because check it out, it's a car that appeals to both young and old because it's fuel efficient, it's the right size, and of course it's the right price. Now if you're a car guy or a car gal, you know that Jeep has been, well, tossed around as a brand to a number of different owners, including Mercedes. Finally, it has landed at the feet or at the home of Fiat. And this brand new Renegade is what has been created in that partnership. Now, it's significant because Jeep has always been an all-American brand. Think about it. I mean, it was born during the Second World War. It was what our GIs drove. And yet this Renegade, I think, has a lot of European influence. Will it sell? Heck yeah. Is it a true Jeep? We'll have to wait till we drive it. It is certainly the most European of American Jeeps. Of course, there are a lot of expensive Mercedes-Benzes at the auto show, but the one I think that is most significant is this one. That may surprise you. Yes, it's the lonely C-Class. And why is the C-Class so important? Because this is Mercedes' bread and butter car. This is their car for the masses. This is the car that you might drive. Even though those are the cars you wish you could drive, this is the one that most people will end up in. And it's a great car. Having been on the press trip at the launch of this, I am very impressed by what Mercedes has done. They've taken two great turbocharged engine, a chassis that can handle all the power, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but steering that is perhaps better than the BMW 3 Series, and stuffed it into one relatively affordable German sedan. And perhaps just as importantly, the interior of the C-Class is just a work of art. Check out this speaker cover. Look at that. It looks like it's been done by an artisan. And everything in this car has that kind of touch of class to it. And if you like infotainment systems, well, Mercedes has done something unusual. They have kept their old command system and they have put kind of a finger-controlled dual way of controlling it into this car. So they've hedged their bets. They're not sure whether they're going to go with the finger control where you can write or the traditional command system. But regardless of that, one of the nicest, one of the most elegant, one of the most spectacular interiors in a relatively affordable car in its class. I bet you guys can guess what car I'm in, because there are very few cars in the world that combine art and raw power and just sheer engineering to create something that many people would call a work of art. Yep, it's a Pagani and it's a Huayra, and it's one of less than a dozen that are in the United States. And coming up next, almost everything you ever want to know about this exotic supercar, hypercar, Uber car, I don't know what you call it, but for 1.5 million, maybe you call it a work of art. So I was in Munich a couple of years ago, and I remember sitting in one of these restaurants that had a very good outlook onto the parking lot. And this guy showed up in a black Lamborghini Gallardo, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, strutting around. And the next thing you know, another guy in a black Lamborghini Gallardo pulls up, right? Mm-hmm. Exact same car, right? And you can just see the guy deflate. And I'm thinking that if you show up in this, there's not going to be another Pagani.
That's the truth. I think the limited production of the car, they're only going to make about 15 cars a year for the world, and for the first year or two, we're only going to see about 8 to 9 cars come to the US market. There still is under 10 cars in the US market right now, and you notice that with Pagani, the instant equity that the vehicle has and the instant rarity, it's more than just buying a car. You're really buying an experience, and part of going to the factory and not becoming car and chassis number XYZ, you actually are known on a first name basis with the entire Pagani family that has an opportunity to custom fit your seats, custom fit your leather samples, exterior colors, wheel modifications, exhaust notes, everything. It's like buying a jet airplane. It's part of that entire experience. But yes, you're right, pulling up to a light, you will never see two Paganis alike. Till this day.
Let's talk numbers. 0 to 60,
0 to 60 is just shy of 3 seconds on the vehicle. Okay. We've tested it. There's been different tests between Top Gear. You look at the rankings of the Zonda R, and that Zonda R racing heritage from what was instilled is still into this vehicle. Top speed of well over 220 miles an hour. Like I said, it's really not just about the performance of the vehicle. It's also about the fact of it being a true piece of performing art.
Horsepower?
730 horsepower.
Torque?
Oof. Ooh, get me on that one. Get me on that one.
How about MPG? Doesn't matter.
MPG doesn't matter. Come on now. We got a year worth of fuel comes with the car.
I think you have to ask.
Exactly.
All right, let me give you the softball question. What's your favorite part of driving this car?
Oof. I think the favorite part of driving the actual Pagani Huayra is being inside of a vehicle that you know is so limited and so rare, and driving everything you can imagine, from the Enzos to the Bugatti Supersports to every Lamborghini you can imagine. Being a second generation dealer, sitting in a Pagani Huayra and knowing that it was my father's dream to become a dealer for this vehicle puts the biggest smile on my face and is the drive for me to continue to be the #1 Pagani dealer.
Have you been to the factory?
Many times.
Yeah?
Many times.
Yeah, all right. All right, and is there a question I should have asked I didn't? Can you pop the hood? We'll look at the engine.
Yeah, of
No,
course.
let's look at the engine. That's you know, the heart of the beast.
Of course. We get. Where's David? David! David! I'm gonna have you actually go to the opposite side,
Okay.
and I want you to click.
And what do you need me to click? What you need?
I need you to click. There's a red button right by the.
Oh, here he comes.
Yep.
I see this button.
See it?
This one right here?
Pull it up.
Oh, easy peasy.
You see that?
Yeah. Look how light that is.
Look at that motor.
Oh my God. What does this sound like?
Oh, it's.
It's a race car, man.
It's a complete race car. And if you think about it, when you have 1,000 Newton meters of torque in this 7.4 liter block, and the only partner that AMG's ever worked with outside of Mercedes-Benz, you can imagine that they built such an amazing character. And of course, when you want to go ahead and you want to go on your vacation with your wife, you still have all of your luggage built into the vehicle, no trunk needed.
Of course, of course. And then your let's see, engine oil, and this is what's this one?
Power steering.
Power steering. Okay. It's beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. The workmanship and craftsmanship that must have gone into this.
Oh, yes.
How does it take them to build one? Do you know?
The vehicle takes about, the whole entire process takes about 120 days all the way up to 200 days, depending on the rarity of what you design.
Okay.
But the entire process, as far as ordering your car, compared to the ones we're sold out to, it's about a 1.5 year process.
So is this one for sale?
This one is not. This is actually our demo. This has 10,000 crazy miles on the vehicle, and I don't think we're going to be selling this anytime soon.
All right. So if somebody comes to your dealership and they want to get one, they go to the factory or not.
Of course, well, they come to the factory and we pretty much sit with the customer and explain to them what the experience is going to be like. And if they want it, there's a deposit placed which holds your secured spot. And then during that duration, before the car goes into production, where the VIN number is then given, you go to the factory and you meet the team. I've had customers go up to 4 times to the factory just because they want to make sure that everything's perfected. Granted, some customers have completely changed their mind every single time they've went, because there's so much different personality when you get the Pagani, and the sway of seeing different vehicles that have been produced over the years can definitely change your mind up a bit. And then I've had customers that have really went once, known exactly what they've wanted because it's been a dream car, and months later, we're able to have it here for production.
So if I've got $1.5 million burning a hole in my pocket, I come to you. How long would it take before I get the car in my garage?
If we ordered a car today, I'd say it's going to be about a 1.5 years.
A year and a half. That's not bad.
No, I'm not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, yeah. And then you can, you know, I'm sure it's one of many cars in someone's
Yes,
garage,
of course, of course.
but in a place of prominence.
Yes, absolutely agree.
Thank you very much. What's it like to sit behind the wheel of this car? Well, it's incredible. You can tell that every little detail has been thought about. Every little thing you touch, every little thing you feel is exquisite. This is the definition of sweating the details. Am I going to get to drive it? No, it's here on display. But I promise you that coming soon on the Fastlane car, we will get our butts in the seat and the car on the road. And that is thanks to you guys. This is the brand new Lexus RCF, and this is important for a number of reasons, but perhaps the most important is that it's redefining what Lexus is. For the long time, Lexus has been anything but exciting, and this car is bringing excitement and flair and style to the Lexus nameplate. Unlike most cars, it is not turbocharged, it's just a ruddy big V8. And unlike most cars, it has that Lexus DNA, which means that they're combining two things that really shouldn't go together, and that is luxury and performance. And that's hard to do, but today's electronics allow you to do that. So you can have a car that you can drive on the track like an all-out sports car, and then drive it to church on the weekend and still feel comfortable. And that is why this Lexus RCF is on our list. Once upon a time in America, when you spent $50,000 on a car, you expected to get something that was luxurious, but that was also powerful and very large. What Audi is doing with the new A3 and of course the S3 is redefining luxury in America in a very European manner. What it's saying is for $50,000, you don't have to have a huge car. You can still have status in a very small package, as long as that package is well engineered, fast, and fun. And that is why the new Audi S3 is on this list. Over at TFL Truck, you will find a complete profile of these guys, Addictive Desert Designs. If you want a Raptor and you want a badass desert pre-runner, basically a truck you can run before you run a race like the Baja 500 or 1000, these guys do a really good job. So check it out over at TFL Truck, or get yourself a Shelby 600 horsepower Raptor if you've just got that itch to go fast in a truck. So when did Chevy turn into a manufacturer of premium sports cars? That's right, I said it, premium sports cars. Behind me, you've got the brand new Corvette Z06, and over here, the Camaro Z28. I recently had the chance to drive a souped up Camaro SS on the track, and my mind was blown. Somehow Chevy has gone from becoming a manufacturer of family sedans to building some of the most performance-oriented sports cars in the world. And I don't know how that happened, but it's way cool. $73,700. That's a lot of money for a Z28. You may be thinking to yourself, well, it is, but when you think about the fact that this car will easily compete on the track with Porsches and, dare I say it, Italian metal, then $73,000 seems like a sports car bargain. What's this car like to drive? I don't know. Subaru pulled it from us before we even had a chance to get our paws on the steering wheel. So, what can we say but nothing? Now I know we've done the Hellcats to death, and here is a beautiful and menacing Challenger Hellcat. Why is it important? Obviously, the most powerful American car ever built, 707 horsepower, enough torque to make your mother turn green, and a top speed of just under 200 miles an hour in the Challenger. I mean, it's just so darn crazy. How can you not fall in love with a car that for $64,000 will blow away many supercars and even hypercars? Think of this i3 as a car that I would really choose, the one that they don't have here, the i8. Why? Because BMW has taken a green car and made it fun, sexy, and sporty. And they've made it so that you can drive it across the entire country. Unlike a Tesla, you could take this car or the i8 and drive it from New York to LA without having to recharge it. Yet, if you want to drive it to work, you could do so every day without using a drop of gas. Best of all, they've made it sexy. Not this one so much, but the i8 for sure with those scissor doors. Oh my God, what a cool car, and that's why it has to be on this list, even though it's not here. At any auto show, tucked away in the corners, you would expect to find really cool cars, and Phoenix is no exception. You would expect to see Shelby Mustangs, a funky colored Jeep Wrangler, but this is quite the surprise. Check it out. It's a 1958 Jeep FC, forward control. And what makes it so funky, besides the fact that, of course, it's a classic Jeep pickup, is the fact that it has treads. What are you going to do with treads in Phoenix? I mean, come on. How much snow do they get down here? Not a lot, I'm betting, but a really, really cool Jeep and well redone. And yes, I know, before you type your comments, You can use treads in the desert, but come on, this is a snow Jeep, not a desert Jeep. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for hanging with me for the top 10 important cars from here in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, there are some luxury brands that I didn't mention, specifically Infiniti behind me, Lincoln, Cadillac, and of course Acura. And the reason for that is, well, these brands are still in the middle of defining who and what they are. They have significant cars, but they don't have that DNA that says, this is what I am. And that's probably the biggest story of 2015. How will these luxury brands redefine themselves? How will they become your car as opposed to your father's car? And that's a story that is still evolving. Only time will tell. As always, this is Roman reporting from Phoenix, Arizona. Thanks for watching, and check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, everyday reviews. Ciao.
You saw it first. 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 You saw it first on the fascinating car.
I recently had the chance to drive a souped up, really hot Camaro SS on the track, and I was blown away. Not only is the Camaro ready? Ready? You know what? It feels like SEMA here again.